Hey, good morning, everyone. It is Friday, May 19th, 2017. Just driving to work here. Got up early this morning, got my 300 push-ups in, also did a 2-mile run on the treadmill. I finally figured out that why my time on the treadmill is a little off, and I did a clock test with my watch, and then on the treadmill clock, and I found out the treadmill clock is like a minute fast. And so, of course, everyone's time is going to be slightly altered and slower than your normal usually minutes per mile. So I figured out that it's about a minute fast. So anyway, that's about the extent of that. Now, I posted a question to a Facebook fan page, or just a community of the Washington hikers, and I've been wanting to do this hike for a number of years, and I've really gotten the urge to do it ever since I've gotten really into photography. And the hard thing about it is, it's the name of it's Palouse Falls, and it's gorgeous. It's one of these beautiful areas in Washington State, but it's extremely difficult to get to. And it's not difficult in the sense of having to travel, by sea, by air, by land. It's just a long drive. It's 4 hours, and there's really not much else to do around there. There's not many gas stations. There's no places to no lodging available. They have 12 campsites at the trailhead, and at this time of year, they're all going to be taken up really early. And so in order to get a camping spot for that night, you have to pretty much, from this area, you have to leave around 3 or 4 in the morning, get there around 8 or 9, and then you get a camping spot for the next night. But it's one of those spots that I've been gearing to go towards, and I just see all these wonderful photos that people have been taking and posting on Instagram, and it just makes me salivate, man. I love nature shots like that. They're just great. And didn't go last year because we didn't get much snowpack into the mountains, and so there wasn't much water on the rivers, especially on the with waterfalls. But this year, this past winter, we've gotten record snowpack in a lot of areas, which is going to complicate hiking the Pacific Crest Trail for some people, which is one of those bucket list things I want to do when I'm probably got to do when I'm older, because I missed out on it after college because I had to get a job. You can't just, hey, you know what, I'm just going to walk around the country for a year, not have to work, grow a beard, live off the land. I can't do that, dude. I had to work, I had to grind, I had bills. So I wanted to do that. But Palouse Falls, man, it's a short little hike, but the park there is beautiful, great photography opportunities, and I wanted to go out there on the way out to go see our goddaughter in Prosser. It's out there by Yakima, and I was going to go out there tonight and then camp out at the trailhead, take some photos, and then meet them up in Prosser after they drove out tomorrow morning. But it was too much to do, and not much of I just didn't want to do it right at this moment. I want to plan for a couple days off during the week where I actually go out there and get a spot early enough, and set time aside, not have to rush. I want to have it planned out, so I got to plan that out. Having a kid, you're having to do that more often. And the things that I used to be able to wake up on a Saturday, or go home work on a Friday night, and I want to go for a hike tomorrow. So you just go to the store, get a few items, food items, and then plan to wake up a little early and find a hike that you want to go to, and then wake up and go. But nowadays, it's like I have to plan for it. I have to make sure that my daughter and my girlfriend know that I'll be out of town doing something, and I have to check in and make sure that I'm safe and all that stuff. And it's no big deal. I'm not complaining about it at all. I love it. I like the fact that people care about me and want to know where I am. And and parenting is a two-person job, and so I have to really plan ahead for those things, and it just takes more coordination and planning. And I'm going to start getting into a little bit more now because my daughter's getting a little older. But in the first year or so, I didn't want to miss her first steps. I didn't want to miss her first words. I didn't want to miss a lot of those first things. A lot of fathers that are on the road a lot, or fathers that don't really participate in their kids' lives early on, miss out on. And so I didn't want to do that. Parenthood and fatherhood has really changed me for the better. And my girlfriend, actually yesterday, somebody walked up to her and says, I've been working with Matt for almost 10 years now, and he's changed so much ever since you and your daughter came into his life. He's such more positive, motivated, and he's a really much better person than he used to be. And I just want to let you know that a lot of people notice that, and that's cool to hear. So that's one of those things that parenthood, it just changes your life. And for me, it's been one of the greatest. It's the greatest thing ever happened to me. I love her smiles, her giggles, when I pick her up from daycare, she runs up to me with her arms wide open and says, "Daddy," and wraps her arms around me. And then I pick her up and put her head on my shoulder, and she just hugs me for a good solid minute or two, and then wipes her nose all over my shoulder. She's just the snottiest, loveliest, most beautiful little girl in the world. And I can't emphasize snotty enough. She is just a seeping bag of lovable mucus. But I love her to pieces. That brings me to kind of what I wanted to hit on today was parenthood and fatherhood particularly. And I've seen a couple groups on Facebook about fathers and stuff like that. It's just a lot of men bashing, and I don't know if it's justified or not. I'm not in everyone else's relationship, but they're bashing the women, the mothers of their children, and I have a problem with that. It's not that I'm not trying to bash anyone, but I'm trying to say that when you choose to have a relationship and have encounters of the physical nature with the opposite sex, things happen, consequences. I'm not saying kids are consequences, they're bad things, but having a child is completely and utterly possible. And so for you to do that, you have to accept the fact that it's a possibility. And if it is a possibility, you need to really evaluate the person you're sleeping with. Is this person crazy? And if they are, maybe you shouldn't do it. And this goes for females as well. If the person you're sleeping with doesn't have a job, isn't motivated, has a history of being raised by a father who abused him, or his mother neglected him or something like that, so he's crazy. You need to understand that the person that you're sleeping with and creating these lives with, you need to really evaluate that. And that's why getting to know someone is such a good, I think it's completely and utterly it's mandatory. You have to do it. And I think I made the best decision by starting a family with my girlfriend. She has a great upbringing. Like any person, she has her own, she has flaws. I have flaws too. She's not perfect, and that's what makes her perfect to me. And she's a great, she's the best mother I have ever seen. She's so kind. She's just the biggest heart. She's selfless. She loves our daughter to pieces, and it just makes parenting so much easier. When you truly love the person and you appreciate them, and they are a very well put together, balanced person, and she's also independent, extremely motivated, and she's extremely successful. She's great at what she does. She is well put together, and I couldn't have asked for a better person. And to have that person share the joys of parenthood with me, it makes it so much easier. And so, like I said, I don't believe in gender roles. I don't believe in men should do this, women should have to do this, except for breastfeeding. That's you can't substitute that. But when it comes to parental responsibilities, it's 50-50, man, or 100-100. If you're raising a child, if you're a man and you create a child with a woman and you decide to not stick around because you think she's crazy, how dare you? And I have no respect for men that do that, for leaving a child parentless, And the thing is, if it's a situation that you can't bear with, you can't deal with the responsibility, you should have thought about that, because your acts created a life, and now you have a sense of responsibility that, you're passing up on and you're not dealing with. And I have no respect for men like that. And I see this so often around the reservation here at Muckleshoot. There's just a lot of men who just create lives and bounce around woman to woman to woman, and they only see their kids at like social events, and they're with their other family or their third family or something like that. And you're leaving these women to having to raise these kids on their own, be a mother and a father, and try to be the big point in their life, and all of that. It just bothers me, because, and there's some of the things I try to combat is I talk to the women. I say, think about the people that you're starting a relationship with and becoming intimate with, because if that guy creates a life with you, think about the kind of person they're going to be. Do they have a substance abuse tendencies? Are they lazy? Do they have gambling issues? Do they have what's their family like? Because that really does make up someone's DNA. It really does. When you see someone's family that's put together in a certain way, and you just sort of look at, think about a party with all those people there, and they're just, it's not a very well put together chemistry of a family. That person you're choosing to be intimate with came from that. And so do you really want that to be tied to you and your child for the rest of your life? And so you need to really think about the decisions you make. Yeah, it's nice to have, get it in once in a while, and have fun in your 20s and stuff like that by sleeping with people and partying and stuff like that. But consequences happen, and kids happen, and when kids do happen, you have a responsibility. You cannot back away from it, run away from it, or hide from it. It's there. That kid deserves everything, every opportunity. And I'm not talking about materialistic things. I'm talking about guidance. I'm talking about proper parenting. I'm talking about moral support. I'm talking about creating a sense of confidence in that child to where they don't have to, they're doubting people, or they have no self-confidence, and so they can't make a decision because they can't face failure. There's just so many kids out there that need their parents and needed a father or needed a mother, and people are just like, well, I couldn't stay with them. They drove me nuts, they drove me crazy, and things like that. And the honest truth is, you created that life with that person. You're tied to them for the rest of your life, and you can't back away from that. That kid does not deserve to not have both parents and not be given an opportunity, to have that upbringing. And some people have become successful despite the fact that they're, most of the time, his fathers were pieces of crap, and maybe that's what makes them as strong as they are and as good as a person as they are, because they try to correct those faults of their parents. And I think that's ultimately, for a lot of kids that grow up. I grew up, and I know my parents made a lot of mistakes, and I'm choosing to not raise my daughter that way, or my future children that way. So I take all the good things from my father and my good things from my mother, and I create my own idea of the best parent that I could possibly be. And it's a DNA of both sides and myself. And so I believe that I'm an excellent father, and my girlfriend is a wonderful mother, and I think that creates a great opportunity and an environment for a child, and creates a good opportunity for her to be confident, to understand what a strong man looks like, what a strong woman looks like, and knows what to expect from herself. And we're not going to pat her on the back and give her 7th place trophies. We're going to teach her that, hard work pays off. You can't, failure is a setback. It's something you have to overcome, and you learn from it. Failure is a learning opportunity, and it's great. I like failing. I like losing, because it just provides me an opportunity to say, hey, you did this, this, and this, and it failed, and so maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you should try something else, and maybe it'll work next time. It's like when you're starting to shoot hoops. First shot you take is going to be short. When you start throwing it further and further, and pretty soon you're left all the time, or maybe you're right all the time, and you just keep making adjustments until pretty soon you have a perfect jump shot. And it's the same thing with life. You keep trying things, and you work with it, you play with it, and pretty soon you have a perfect style. You have a perfect step-by-step process, and you function much better that way. You just have to keep trying and stick with it. So I want to teach her that. So basically the gist of this is, when you choose to have sex with somebody and get into a relationship with them, get into a marriage with them, and you don't fully know that person, then if that person goes crazy on you, or you can't stand to be around them, and you choose to neglect and just not be there for your child, I have no respect for you. And this goes for both sexes. I know a lot of single fathers that have to take care of things because the mother's not around. And so, people, that, especially young women that, want to become successful, if you choose to sleep with someone, you need to really think about the kind of character they are. Think about their character. What kind of person are they? Where'd they come from? Who made them who they are? And it's if they fall off and they fall into addiction or substance abuse, or they're abusive, or they have no confidence in themselves, and they don't want their woman to be an independent woman, and any guy that talks to her, he's jealous, and he's starting to make her feel, he starts to belittle her because he doesn't want other men talking to her. See, guys can talk to my girlfriend all day, it doesn't matter, because I know that at the end of the day, she comes home with me, and I make her feel the best, and I make her confident, and I make her feel good, and I comfort her, and I'm there, I'm everything for her. So no other man can provide that for her, and so I'm not intimidated by any man. It doesn't faze me. So I think that's one of the things that a lot of women don't see, is the fact that there are men out there that don't have confidence in themselves, and when they see their woman talking to other guys, they become aggressive and controlling, because they feel that a man could be what he wants to be for her, but he's not. And he sees a man starting to provide that for her, giving her the attention that she looks for, or that she needs or requires, and and he becomes jealous of that, because that guy's able to do that. Like a good-looking guy talks to her, and he's not good-looking, he's in shape, and he's not in shape, and he's like, I wish I was in shape, because maybe I would feel more confident about myself, and it's just all that stuff. So it's the character of the person that you're starting a family with. You need to really think about that, because that person's going to be in your life and your child's life for the rest of your life. And being a parent is something you can't neglect, you can't run away from, and it's something that it's a lifelong responsibility, and and you need to strive to be the best possible parent you can. No excuses. There is no excuse for that person's crazy, or I can't stand that person. You decided to be with them. You decided to have the consequences of having them for the rest of your life, and so you need to stick with that, not run away from it, and just deal with the consequences of your actions. So anyway, that's for Friday. I'll be going out to Eastern Washington this weekend, and don't think I'll do any videos this weekend, but I'll start back up here on Monday. So you guys have a great Friday, enjoy the weather, and we'll see you next week. All right, thanks.